Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. 50 Years of Broadway at the Kennedy Center is a once-in-a-lifetime celebration of some of the greatest moments from Broadway's history on the stages of the Kennedy Center. This star-studded event, which is hosted by James Monroe Iglehart, will take place this weekend, and I caught up with some of Broadway's favorites who are participating. Andrea McArdle, Gavin Creel, Francis Raffel, and Tony Yazbek, just days before the big event. You're a part of the 50 Years of Broadway at Kennedy Center. I have goosebumps just saying this. I mean,
It's kind of exciting, isn't it?
yeah, how excited are you to be a part of it? It's like singing again in a big, beautiful house.
37-piece orchestra. Rob Berman's conducting. Mark Rooney's directing. Joanne Hunter's choreographing. You're interviewing everybody. The list of stars are people that I look up to and I admire, and I just can't wait to stand in the wings and watch them perform. And it's sort of like we're all going back to not summer camp, February, winter camp, of just being able to be together and share great music and celebrate the Kennedy Center.
I was just talking to Gavin Creel this morning at our sound check, and we chatted about how much we love events like this because, we get to do what we love and what we do so well in a couple of numbers. We don't have to, put the whole show on our shoulders. We can come together with this amazing, talented Broadway group of people as an ensemble unit, basically. And gosh, and especially this kind of a group. You look at the list of this cast and everybody's just so wonderful. And, they do what they do so well, but mostly they're just really kind and generous people. So when you get to work with great people on stage, that's the best part of doing any job, really.
I am back at the Kennedy Center. That's where Annie was mounted in 77. And really the Kennedy Center, and Roger Stevens in particular, was responsible for making sure we got to Broadway with that last 500,000, which in those days was probably like 5 million. So we made it to Broadway, and here we are. Next time was with Carol Channing and Jerry's Girls, and I got a ticket for roller skating at the Kennedy Center, but Carol paid it for me. She felt bad.
Are you serious?
I am.
Is it surreal being back there at the Kennedy Center where you started Les Mis?
I'm literally so emotional. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to tell everyone how emotional I actually feel, but I'm on the edge of tears the whole time. It's just all the memories are sort of floating back in again. And even just being in the elevator, I'm like, oh, I remember this elevator. It was such a magical time for me. And I didn't really know how incredible it was going to be as well. So just going back there to my original feelings, and it's, overwhelming now for me so many years later.
Now let's talk about what you're singing or dancing this weekend.
Yeah, I'm doing a little crazy for you. They wanted some tap dance, so I said I'll whip up a little Can't Be Bothered Now for you with this 40-piece orchestra, which is so awesome. I don't think I've performed in the Opera House for at least 20 years, maybe since like Thoroughly Modern Millie was on tour when I was very young. And but I usually do a bunch of work in the concert hall, which is just across the hall. But then I'm doing Buddy's Blues, a little more Follies. We're doing we're paying tribute to Sondheim in the second act. So that's a really exciting part of the show. And then we all get together and do a little Bernstein for our finale, a little somewhere. So, but yeah, I'm really excited just to watch from the wings, all my cohorts doing what they do so well.
Well, they called me originally and they were like, we're going to celebrate the Kennedy Center. And I said, well, do you want me to sing Talent, which is a song I debuted in Bounce, which is now Roadshow. And Sondheim, may he rest in peace, it was his last big show. What's weird to me is when you say 50 years of Broadway at the Kennedy Center, 20 years ago, I was in Bounce. 19 years ago it's 20 years ago next summer, but it's weird to me to think that it was 30 years of the Kennedy Center when I was there, and it's almost double. I mean, I don't understand time or aging, but I asked, do you want me to sing Talent from Roadshow? And they said, we have some other Sondheim ideas. We want to know if you'll sing Corner of the Sky from Pippin. And I was like, I love that song. Yes. So I'm going to sing Corner of the Sky with a 37-piece orchestra. And then they had a few other ideas. They said they need to feature three shows that got their out-of-town tryout were Pippin, Les Mis, and Annie. And I immediately said to Mark and Rob on the phone, I said, please find 2 women to sing Easy Street with me. So we're going to do Easy Street, and I'm going to finally get to play live my rooster dreams. And then the last thing we were going to do, I don't know, maybe somebody else is doing it, but we were going to do Brotherhood of Man from How to Succeed. Yeah. And then at the last minute, they said, we had a change of heart. We want to go super classic. Will you do Luck Be a Lady? And I've never played Sky Master since. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to have 4 incredible dancers that I just met at the rehearsal in New York last week. And I'm in my kitchen, like practicing my moves.
Okay, so now, what are you singing this weekend?
Oh, I wonder what I'm singing. It's only one song I know, isn't there?
No.
So I am singing on my own, which is obviously very special for me anyway, but very special to be singing on that stage again. And it's with a 40-piece orchestra. So I'm really, really excited about that.
What are you singing this weekend? Tell us. What are you doing in the show?
Well, it's the only song I know. We were just talking about this with Frances Ravel too. I was like, what are you singing? Please. I said, please tell me you're going to sing. She goes, yeah, the only song I know. And I was like, get in line, because it's the only song I know, apparently.
All right, but we have to talk about this. These are iconic songs. Like I said, it must be interesting for an entertainer, but to have been given an iconic song that tomorrow it's Andrea's song. That's a really, really big deal. Tomorrow is one of these songs that you go back. I remember getting that.
It's now become Americana, like Sound of Music, and it's a rite of passage that kids get into. Annie Jr. and it's just like a driver's license. So it's amazing to have been here, right here at the Kennedy Center. My dressing room is maybe 4 doors down, and when you're in the hit, it's a very different experience. But I have not one negative thing from that whole experience. And I find that with theater people all the time. So it feels really amazing to be back and amongst everybody.
What was it like for the sound check, stepping back on stage again?
Well, we haven't done the sound check yet as we're speaking. So, but stepping on the stage today was just incredible. And I mean, if I looked around me, all the people that I'm with, and also because I'm British as well, I'm not used to doing these American galas or whatever you call them. We call them galas. I felt really excited, like a child, to be like with all the Broadway people. It's very special to me, even after all these years, really is. And also, just the whole thing of, getting your places right on the stage and learning the words and learning the harmonies. I'm out of practice, really. So I really had to start using a different muscle in my brain today.
My favorite part of any kind of theatrical collaboration is just working with the right kind of people, and it is. But then when you put on like 40-piece orchestra and a huge audience, packed house at the Kennedy Center, doing what you love to do, it's fun. It's a gift. I bumped into Frances Ruffel at backstage, and I was just like, it must be exhilarating for her to come back 35 years later from doing Les Mis originally here at the Kennedy Center before it ever went to Broadway. And I think it is. I think it's probably a blast. And so to be able to have those memories be relived on stage the way they were originated here, I think is really exciting for the audiences.
What was it like being there with Les Mis when you were there at the Kennedy Center? Like, there must have been so much happening with the show before it came to New York.
Well, yeah, because obviously I was lucky because I'd been in it in London, but everybody knew, everyone was excited about it. So when it came to the Washington, D.C. first before Broadway, they put us in the Opera House, which is, I think it's about 2,500, isn't it? Or more seats, for 2 months, we filled out every single performance. It was sold out, I think, before we even opened. And so basically, we knew already that we were in something special, so it was incredible really to do it there. And in Washington, D.C., I was really excited to be there. My first time away from home, really.
You were there in Bounce. Like, what are your favorite memories? I mean, I love that show.
It was a complicated and amazing puzzle to try to put together. And I think they continued to work on it, and I'm probably sure they will continue to work on it in Steve's memory. But my biggest memory was that I was at the Kennedy Center And in the green room, eating carrots and dip, was Hal Prince and Steve Sondheim and John Weidman and David Caddick and Michelle Pauck and Howard McGillen and Jane Powell and Richard Kind. It was just like this kind of embarrassment of riches that I was only my second big, I did Millie, and then I left my first Broadway show to go and do this. So it was very early in my career, and I did not have a lot of grasp on what I was holding and what I was a part of. And to think that like we were trying it out. Roger Berlin was our producer, our glorious producer. And I was in the presence of the building of musical theater, like the musical theater. I don't know that I will ever truly understand the glory of what I was a part of. And it was not perfect. It was messy. We were like changing stuff every night and trying new things and cutting songs and adding songs, and but I was there. I remember going to Morton's Steakhouse one night, and it was a table, Judy Prince and Hal and Jane and Richard and everybody's there at a long table eating steak and talking about the making of Company. And just sitting there having these conversations with these men and going, I'm in Washington, D.C. at a steakhouse with the fathers of our industry, and I can't, I have the Kennedy Center to thank for that, for producing that show and including me.
You must have so many incredible memories of doing Les Mis, specifically here at the Kennedy Center. Would you share one for our audience at Broadway World of something that comes to mind?
I can share I can share a very silly one.
Okay.
Well, do you remember there was a Revolve on the original production? Well, the Revolve decided to go crazy, and it went so fast. I mean, I don't know how fast, but it felt like we were holding on for dear life to the sort of boxes on the set, and it felt like we were being spun like a record on a record player. And I remember that happening and being absolutely petrified. And we had to cancel the performances for both of those. It was a matinee, and we had to cancel both performances that day. We all had time off. But I mean, that's a sort of silly memory.
Well, the Kennedy Center, there's such a sense of pride, and it is an extended family. And if I play the Norma Terrace Theater, the stagehands and their sons and grandsons that were there for the Annie days and beyond come up and shake hands with you and introduce a grandchild. And I mean, that's it's really amazing. So I love it here. It's my favorite theater. And yeah. I mean, I have such great memories here.
Well, I love it. So you're preparing. You just came off stage from your sound check. You're preparing for this weekend for 50 Years of Broadway at the Kennedy Center. How excited are you?
Well, just to be back on a stage with real lights and real technicians, real stagehands, a real orchestra. It's overwhelming, but fantastic.
What are you looking forward to the most about this weekend? These concerts at Kennedy Center?
Oh, being filled up with the music, being inspired by every other performer around me. Enjoying myself, not feeling like it's work, enjoying the beauty of the music and the art form. And honestly, seeing a packed house at the Kennedy Center is, I haven't seen anything quite that large in a packed house in a few years now. So that's going to be a breath of fresh air.
What are you looking forward to the most about this weekend?
Actually doing my thing and then getting to watch everybody else up close, because it's not like you're doing your whole show where you've got an hour and a half of material and, talking and everything. So this is a piece of cake. This is like a totally enjoyable gift.
So as you're standing here in this room that back from the 70s, I mean, it's got to be the most surreal moment for you, just wandering through these halls of the Kennedy Center.
Yes, and when I came back to do Jerry's Girls, that was amazing. And then Catherine Crosby and John Davidson played my parents in State Fair with Donna McKechnie and Scott Wise, and a lot of the same musicians. I'm seeing them, and it's like old home week.
Well, I have to admit, I don't really get nervous, but I feel quite nervous because so many people have been so lovely and said, can't wait to hear you sing, that constantly. And it's like the pressure is too much. But you know, so it is a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm really honored to be invited, and you know, I'm actually looking forward to watching everyone else.
That's what everyone's doing. I spoke to Gavin and everybody else. They're all like, I want to do my number, and then I want to watch everybody else make their magic too.
Yeah.
It truly is going to be laughter with people that I haven't seen, or I mean, Beth Level and Betsy Wolf and I are doing Easy Street, and just being in the room with Joanne Hunter, who I did my first Broadway show, I did Thoroughly Modern Millie, and she was Gloria in the original company, and now she's a huge successful choreographer. Being in the room with her, with my friend Charlie, who was there, we did La Cage together. He's just her associate, with Mark and Rob, and just getting to be in the room with people that I have not seen or touched or come in contact with, and get to sit on the floor and watch them do what they do. I'm just gonna watch and be entertained myself, and then go on and get to entertain some people in the process.